In the previous videos of this chapter, we have learned about different types of fibers. We learned about the steps of production of cotton fiber, wool and jute. In today's video, we'll be learning about steps of production of silk fiber and some properties of synthetic fibers. So to start with, silk fiber is a protein fiber. It has a natural shine. It is very lustrous in appearance. Silk was earlier developed around 5000 to 8000 years back long ago in China. Later it was transported to India, Africa, Middle East, and this route developed as a silk route. Now how this silk is produced? The commercial production of silk from the silkworms is called as sericulture. Yes, silk is produced from the silkworms. As you can see here in the picture, silkworms, when they lay eggs, the eggs hatches and they give out the tiny larva. These larvas, they feed a lot upon the leaves of the mulberry trees where they grow, and after feeding a lot they develop into a thick structure called as cocoon. Around the larva, this thick outside shell develops called as cocoon. Now these cocoons, they are not allowed to burst out, because once if they open out, then the adult silkworm will start coming out from it and it will fly off. So what people are doing commercially is they take these cocoons and put them in boiling water. Yes, it's a cruel practice, but silk production is done this way. Once they are boiled in the hot water, the threads can be reeled out. This is called as reeling out of the thread from the cocoon. And now these thin strands or fibers which are obtained, they are spun together to form a thick yarn, which can be later converted into a fabric by spinning or weaving. So this is how silk is produced from the silkworms. Now coming to synthetic fibers. Synthetic fibers are also called as man-made fibers. They are obtained by chemical processing of petrochemicals. Synthetic fibers can be woven into a fabric just like natural fiber. They dry up quickly, they are very cheap, they are readily available, and they are easy to maintain. That is why there are some good characteristics of synthetic fibers which are very useful to us, and that is why people generally prefer to use synthetic fibers. But yes, there are some disadvantages also. What could be that? They are non-biodegradable and they catch fire also very easily. So if a person is wearing synthetic fabrics while working in the kitchen or maybe in an occupation where he is close to the fire, then it could be a risky thing. Here are some examples of synthetic fibers: nylon, polyester, rayon. These are all synthetic fibers. Now there is a difference between some properties of natural fibers and synthetic fibers. Natural fibers, they have empty spaces between them. Like cotton, we wear cotton in summers because cotton allows the fabric itself breathes. It allows the passage of air. So that is why we don't feel hot in summers if we are wearing cotton cloth, because the air passage is allowed. Quicker evaporation of the sweat will occur, which will help in cooling down the body. Wool, silk, they also have empty spaces, so they can absorb more water and they take time for drying. Now if I compare the same thing with synthetic fibers, they don't have any empty spaces, so they absorb very less water. So that property is beneficial because they dry faster in comparison to the natural fabrics. So today we have discussed about silk production, that is sericulture. Commercial production of silk is called as sericulture. For this process, the silkworms are reared on the leaves of mulberry trees. Once they lay eggs on the leaves, the eggs they hatch into larva. This larva develops around itself a hard structure called cocoon, which is not allowed to grow further. Instead, it is put in boiling water. From there, the thin fiber strands can be reeled out, which can then be converted into yarn, and the fabric can be obtained by the process of weaving or knitting. Then we discussed about synthetic fibers. Synthetic fibers, they are petroleum products. They have certain desirable properties, easy to maintain, and they dry very slow. But we compared it to natural fibers. There are some disadvantages also because they don't have empty spaces, absorb less water, they are less airy, and they can catch fire easily. This much for today. Thank you.